Elam Ives Jr. was born on January 7, 1802 in Hamden, Connecticut. He was the sixth of 13 children born to Elam Ives Sr. and Sarah Ives, and perhaps the only one who sought a career in music. Evidence suggests, however, that his younger brother William was also a music teacher. The family grew up in Mount Carmel, just north of Hamden, where the father undertook several business ventures, including building a water-powered factory to produce iron wagon axles. A family member, known only as Mr. Ives, music master, advertised in 1799 in the Hartford Courant for pupils desiring lessons in a number of instruments, and is likely whom Elam Jr. received his training from. While there was musical interest throughout the family, several of Elam Jr.'s brothers followed their father's footsteps into the manufacturing business. Elam, however, pursued music professionally. By the age of 20, Elam was married and worked as a singing teacher and church choir director in several locations all around Connecticut. He soon moved to New Haven, where he continued his work as a singing teacher and introduced the word rehearsal in place of singing school, implying that he was preparing the students for a performance, an aspect he seemingly felt important. By age 25, he moved to Hartford, where he continued his work as music instructor and performer, including work as the music teacher in Christ Church. Through his performing in Hartford, Ives met Deodatus Dutton, another highly accomplished musician from the Hartford area. Together they worked on both American Psalmody, a collection of sacred music, and The Juvenile Lyre, the first children's songbook for schools. Through Dutton, Ives was introduced to William Channing Woodbridge, who had just returned from Europe, where he studied the schooling methods of several leading European schools, including the ideas of Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi. Although a geography professor by trade, Woodbridge took an interest in the teaching of music as observed in Europe, and hoped that music could be taught in the United States according to the Pestalozzian approach he observed. Since Woodbridge was not a musician, Dutton introduced him to Ives Jr., and together they began studying the materials that Woodbridge had brought from Europe. In that same summer, Ives decided to conduct an experiment with a juvenile choir, employing the methods and materials brought by Woodbridge. This became known as the Hartford Experiment. Woodbridge's first-hand account of the experiment attests to the success of Ives.
The system was first introduced in Hartford, Connecticut during the present summer. Several juvenile choirs were trained in a few months to sing in a manner which surprised and delighted all who heard them by their accuracy in time and tone of expression.
Ives conducted the experiment with both a number of juvenile choirs and with students of an infant school, all of which were apparently successful. In a review of the juvenile concert given on September 10th of 1830, Ives is credited for his success. Mr. Ives deserves great credit for his persevering and gratuitous exertions to introduce the cultivation of music among the children of our city, and we cannot but hope his laudable efforts will meet with that encouragement from our citizens which they deserve. Furthermore, an anonymous letter to the American Annals of Education and Instruction commended the efforts of Ives to introduce the new method of instruction. Lastly, fellow musician Thomas Hastings recognizes Ives in a discussion of the Pestalozzian system. And what is still better, we are authorized to state that some of the leading principles of this writer have very recently been reduced to practice in this country. Although Ives is not as well known today for his contributions to American music education, it is clear that his innovative techniques and efforts should not go unnoticed. He was truly a pioneer in the bringing of music to the attention of the public as a valuable part of education.